Welcome to Benchmark's official YouTube channel. In this video, we'll be learning Next.js. So we'll be making an software as a service, and in this tutorial, you'll be learning Next.js and how to build your own custom Next.js authentication SaaS application like Clerk, Auth.js, or Firebase Auth. So here are the prerequisites that you should know. First of all, you have to know JavaScript and then React.js library. You will learn Next.js 15, TypeScript, tRPC, Tailwind, and ES6 in this tutorial. And please know that this tutorial is strictly not for beginners. You must have a prior React knowledge to learn Next.js. So let's just get started. First of all, you can open a folder in your preferred IDE. I'm using VS Code. So let's get started. First of all, we are making a Next application. So let me tell what exactly Next is about. Next.js is basically a framework for React. So of course, React is a library, it's not a framework. So if you want a framework like Svelte has SvelteKit, Vue has Nuxt, and if you want something for React, we have we have many frameworks like Next.js, we have Gatsby, we have Remix, we have many of them, and Next.js is the preferred React framework. So we'll be learning this today. So we can get started by npx create next app latest, but in this tutorial I'm not going to do that. I'm using something called create t3 app, uh, npm create t3 app latest. So you might ask why, because t3 is not next, but if you take a closer look at their website, this is one of the best way to create a complete full stack type safe Next.js application. So it's basically Next.js stack. So we'll be using Next.js, TypeScript, and tRPC, Tailwind. We won't be using Prisma or Nextart. Yeah. So let's get started. Okay. So what will your project be called? I'm gonna put dot because I already have a folder here. So we'll be using TypeScript or JavaScript. We'll be using TypeScript in this tutorial. We'll be using Tailwind, yes. I would like to use tRPC, and I'm not going to use any authentication provided because we are making a own. And if actually in this tutorial, we'll be using the Node.fs with a JSON file. So we don't actually need a database because it's just like a startup project. But when you have to scale, you can use a database like Postgres or something. For that, you can use Drizzle, but we're not using any ORM today. We have to use next app router, yes. Make sure you put yes, or else it'll go for the page router. Should we initialize a git repository? You can choose yes, but I'm not going to do that. Should run npm install for you? Yes. So you can use the default alias, and voila, we got it. So let it install. So okay, here we are. So we got this installed. Now we'll be running npm run dev first of all. Okay, so we get an error, permission denied. um Okay, so let's check what's okay. We don't have anything here. Okay, so let me first. So if you are on Linux or Mac, you probably have to give permissions to you. So let me just do that real quick. Okay, so first of all, we'll be changing a few things here. Because when you go to app, here paste.tsx, we can basically remove most of this thing. We don't need it. We'll make our own. Let's just export default function app and just return hello world for now. And okay, we'll be changing this now. I think everything is fine. Let's remove the okay, let it that be. Now let's just run npm run dev. So we might get an error because of tRPC. I don't think so. Okay, so we didn't get an error. So if you go to localhost 3000, you'll be saying hello world. So that means our project is perfectly running now. So now let's get started by removing the default once. So let's go to layout. Let's first of all change this instead of create T3 app. Let's call this Next.js auth say yes. And okay, let that be like that. And yeah, so and we also be deleting the components folder. Yes, so okay, we'll be deleting the routes folder. Okay, we'll be doing this all on our own, so you can just basically delete everything inside our API. So okay, we're not gonna use super JSON here. What's okay? We'll just create all of this on our own, so we don't need any of this. We'll probably not. We'll probably check about that. And server.ts. Okay, it's also tRPC. Okay, so I think everything is ready for us to get started now. So yes, we're not going to do anything. We'll just put children. Okay, so that looks good now. So let's just delete the entire tRPC folder for now. Do we have any styles? Okay, so yeah, we are also using Tailwind here. I think I forgot to mention that. So if is this tRPC too? Yes. So can delete the entire API folder here. Okay. Okay, I thought I deleted the folder. No. Okay. So why do we get an error here? Cannot find HTML. Okay. Oh, okay. I think we probably will just export default function app and we'll just return hello world. So does that satisfy the compiler? Okay, yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna do one more thing. You can go to next sorry package.json and you can add turbo here. So we're gonna use turbo for this. So it is way faster. So where was I? Oh, I'm actually deleted this. Okay, let's just check whether it works first. So you can see that we have turbo here. Now, yeah, let's export default function. So we're exporting a function as default. Let's call that app and let's return a main JSX element. Okay, so we'll just say hello to check whether turbo works. Okay, so turbo works perfectly. So now we can get started. So the first thing we're gonna do is make the layout and then the database. So yeah, so we'll be using Tailwind here and we'll be also using something called Flowbyte. So this gives you pre-built docs for and it also gives you elements for Tailwind. So this is how we're gonna do it. So yeah, first of all, we're not going to use anything like clerk here because we're going to make our own auth provider. But after that's what I thought. But then if you want to like really register the users, I think a better option would be to use clerk for now, and then we'll change that moving on. So you can register an account on clerk. Is pretty simple, and you can create a new application. Let's call this Next.js auth. So I'm not going to use email, I'm going to use Google and GitHub for now. So let's just create an application like that. Okay, so first of all, we're going to install this. So I'm opening a new terminal and okay, so main mode installs. We'll copy the environment variables and put it at .env. So of course I'm going to delete the project, so it probably won't work for you. You can create your own API keys, and yeah, we'll be making something called middleware or TS. So if you know what some middleware is, so that would be easy. So where exactly should we place it in? Let me close this for now. Okay, okay, so this is in SRC. So over here we are making something called middleware.ts. So here we'll be pasting this code. So what this exactly will do is like it will check for all the static files and it will check for API routes. Okay, so I think now we are basically done configuring yeah, clerk. So let's import it in our layout. So okay, so we're gonna import something called a clerk provider. Yes, exactly. And over here we can put the clerk provider inside. So if you have used clerk before, this is how we you would know how we do this. So basically a clerk provider is the provider that you're using. It's a JSX element. You put it outside the HTML. So now let's go to a page and we'll be using okay, let's import clerk first of all. So we're gonna import two things: signed in and signed out. And then we'll be using something else also called the user button. So I'm not going to really do any type of CSS styling here. I'm just going to straightforward like teach you next. So yes, so now this is probably all the things that we know about React. So this is completely React. Now let me actually go and explain what exactly what's the project, I mean what's the layout of Next. So here you can see that we have a pretty much a React based project, but inside of SRC you have something called app, server and styles. So styles, as the name says, styles. Server. Okay, so you probably have heard of something called RSC or React Server Components. So from I think from version 19 onwards, I'm not sure exactly from which version, we got something called server components. So basically, your code runs in the server. So instead, now usually with the basic React approach, your basic React approach will be like it runs in the client. Now for example, if I have some code such as um, h1 hello, so what happens is this goes to Babel and this gets converted into something like react dot create element like h1 and then you get hello. So this, with the help of the React library, gets converted into something like document dot create element. So yeah, basically like that. Create element h1 and the same thing, h1 and hello. So this is how we get the vanilla JavaScript, and all of this is done in the client. All of this is done in the client. It's the usual approach that we do. But then when we got React server components and Next.js. So after, or probably Next.js, what do you do? This h1 hello, Next.js identifies this even before the user even makes a request and converts this into react.create element, this thing into this. All of this is done by Next.js in the server. So let me just paste this into a readme file. Okay, not okay, yeah, let me just paste all of this over here. So this is how the client works, and this is how this is basically the usual React approach. The React approach is this, but then when we got RSC React Server components with the Next.js in the server, this is how it works. Now let me talk about the aligning. Okay, I don't know why it's not getting bolded. Okay, there's some problem with Markdown. Okay, so this is about RSA. Now I'll actually explain the project root. So there's something called next.config.js. You can see that over here, next.config.js. So this is basically like package.json but for Next.js. This is the first part I'm going to talk about. And there's two things called app router and page router. So let me explain this real quick. So both of them are routers, like how your normal router works. Okay, I don't know why is this not working over here. Okay, never mind. So app router and page router. So before explaining this, let me talk about the structure. So usually your structure in your usual next, I mean sorry, React approach, React structure would be something like src slash instead of instead of src you'll be having something called components. Okay, so we have something called components, and you have your app.jsx or tsx and index.js. And instead of components, you have your all the components like 404.jsx, your that's a not found file, anything basically like a navbar.jsx. So this is your usual approach. And how do you actually link? Okay, let's make one more. You'll be having something like sign up. Let's call this pages, or let's just call this sign up.jsx. So now if you want to make a separate route for this, so react routing, you'll probably use something like react router for all of this. Be using react router for all of this probably, or you'll just make your own router structure. So and you'll link all of this. Now inside of index.js you will link slash sign up to sign up .tsx. So this is how you will be doing it. But with Next.js routing, this is how you're gonna do it. First of all, you'll be having an SRC. Inside that, you're having an app, and you'll also have something like server and all your styles where they are placed. So instead of this, you'll probably have something like global.css or style.css, doesn't matter. You're having something like index.js. So this is your, or api.js. Yeah, instead of server it should be api slash, so you can call this whatever you want. And inside of app you'll be having something called page.tsx. So what exactly is this? So page, whatever you give here, it doesn't matter both in React or Next, but you may React, but Next you have to make sure mention that it's a page so that it will be rendered by Next.js compiling. So if you don't understand, let me just show it really quickly. So and also I also forgot to mention Next.js goes by the routing file name. So for example, if I want to make an about page, let's yeah, let me just use the thing sign up thing. So I make a folder called sign up and add a paste.tsx. So paste.tsx basically shows a sign up thing. So I think you understand this. And outside everything you need something called a layout.tsx. So this shows the layout of your entire application. You can have a layout.tsx here also, but this is completely optional. This is optional, so you don't need it. So this is the basic structure of a normal Next project. And this also now for example, let's make a blog here. Now imagine I have like 1,000 blocks. So the usual approach would be like blog 1.tsx, blog 2.tsx, and it's really painful if you want. And also you have to fetch from a database. So the option would be like blog, or let's just use it slug.tsx. So you can give an IIT slug, so it basically goes to blog 1.tsx, something like that. So this is how the routing works. Now come back to app router and page router. So app router, it uses the app here, and page router it uses the page. So that's the like basic difference. Not much. I mean, there are a few other differences, but these are the basic, very basic differences. So it's not a big topic. So I this is the basics of Next. So I think now we can get started. So first of all, let's get started with clerk. So we'll be having something like signed. Let's make the signed out function first. And here you must sign in to view your users. So it has to say this thing if I'm not wrong. Okay. Yes, you must sign in because we haven't signed in. So let's make the sign in button first of all. So we have something called a user button. Okay, yeah, sorry. We also have to make a sign in button before that. A sign in button. So if it's signed out, we give a sign in button, and we call, yeah, sign into um next. Okay, let's just sign in. So you see this button we have over here is not really looking like a button, so let's just take a button component. Okay, so where do we have dark? So it's the third one. I'm a- I gotta copy this. So let's go about the components. So usually prefer putting my components over here. So you can put components. Oh yeah, I also forgot about what exactly the underscore is. Let me just explain that in a little second. Just make button.tsx. Okay, export default button. So we'll be taking props over here. Okay, yeah, function, sorry. And then we'll be returning. Okay, something's wrong. Oh, okay, so that's the problem with TypeScript. So okay, that's actually a good thing. Now we'll be going here and props dot text. Okay. Okay, so now let me teach you TypeScript now. So this is the time where we gotta come to TypeScript. So TypeScript is basically a superset of JavaScript. So let me go to README here. So let me show you what TypeScript is. So TypeScript is first of all is a superset of JavaScript. So it gives you extra types. So basically in normally in JavaScript you would do const x is equal to 10, and you could probably set this to something like this. And yeah, unless okay, it's not const var, but we have something like y equal to 20. So you can basically change this into a string, and this would give you an error. But in TypeScript you can call this, it has to be a number. This will also be a number, so this will give you an error immediately, so this won't even execute. So that's the advantage of TypeScript. So I'll explain more and more TypeScript as I go on. So let me talk about the props first. So we'll be having text. Okay, okay, text should be a string. So you can see that we will be having an object where a text will be a string. So this is TypeScript. Okay, now let's go on here. Go to paste.tsx. Instead of a sign in button, let's make a button. Let's give the text as sign in. So okay, so we got a sign in button over here. So once the user clicks on sign in, it'll automatically get signed in. So if you want to check about that, if I click on sign in, you see we get this. It's all by clerk and it's just awesome. So now I can use Google to sign in, and we got signed in, and we didn't see anything because we are signed in. That's why we're not saying you must get signed in. So let's make the signed in here, and here we'll just show a user button. So you can see my button was here. So of course it's not really good CSS, but yeah, I'm just trying mainly focusing on the backend part. So this is how it works, and this is like amazing. Like with a very little code you can just make an authentication. So we'll be doing something similar to that, but only for email. So as we are signed in, we are going to make an input and two inputs. So we'll be having one input, another one. So this placeholder will be enter user's email, and this will be enter user's password. So it's not really like clerk or something, but it's going to show you how you can build it. Like, of course, you'll probably, if you want to make a SaaS, you'll give something like an API, but I'm not going to show all of this because this is going to be, I'm going to make it as simple as possible. Um, yes, so here let's make the type email and the type here as password because we don't want to see the user's password. So where were we? Over here. So you can see we got two inputs over here. Okay, let me just delete this thing quick. Oh, where was local host? Oh yeah, yeah. Huh? Okay, that's okay. Okay, so never mind. Is there a way to delete it? Okay, never mind. So I'm not gonna talk about the CSS over here. So yes, also we need one more button over here. A button with the text sign up. Okay, so now we got our front end ready. It looks ugly, I know that, but let's just we're not talking about that. So I think it would be better if we put the background PG dark, I mean sorry, PG gray 900. Okay, so let me just put it to the HTML, Okay, so here's where layout gets handy. So let's put this here, put this, and text white. Okay, and okay, so we can put this as flex column, and then we can check it out about this the styling later. Okay, so now this is our front end. Now let's move on to the exciting part, the backend. Let's make index.ts as IP. Okay, I don't really. Okay, so we got index. One second, not sure. Okay, yeah, we got that. So index.ts. So it's time to make a backend. So first of all, uh, we'll be okay. So you can go to Next.js documentation over here. If you go for API reference, okay, API reference. Okay, we can just search API here. Um, okay, so first of all, to make an API, you can use this snippet. So we'll be importing the types. Okay, let me explain this all real quick. First of all, we'll be importing this from next API request and next API response. So these are the types that we're importing. So we're making something like response data as string, and we're exporting a default function called handler rec as next API response, and next API response as the response data, which is the type that we defined here. So this is basically a generic. So if you have used Express before, this looks familiar to you probably because again using rest of status.json. So now let me show you some things that's great. So we go to here slash API. Okay, Okay, I think it's server slash API. Okay. Okay, so I'm just Next.js API routes. Mm. Okay, so this has to be slash API. I'm not sure why pages. Okay, so oh yeah, I got it. So we'll put this inside our app. Yeah, now this should work perfectly. Fine. So here we got this thing. Okay, here slash API. Huh? Okay, so we got API and hello. Yeah. Huh. Okay, guys. So I just quickly checked out what was the problem. So first of all, I had to put it in a folder, and it was not index. It was root. And yeah, I also forgot to put it as a post function. So this is how it actually has to look right now. So yeah. So we're basically making a post function. We'll be getting the request from the body, and we'll be getting something like user and password. So we'll be using es6 deconstruction. And here, okay, so we'll be checking about this here. So after, okay, so first of all, or unused. Okay, so the username is a string. Oh, okay, so it's not like that. So it is a string. Okay, so username is a string, and password is also a string. Okay, so it doesn't matter. It's anyways gonna let us. So let's just get started now. So first of all, we're gonna use fs. So I think I didn't mention this earlier. We are basically running Node. This is basically Node, okay? So, because we're in the browser. I mean, sorry, we are in the server. So we're gonna import fs from Node, or let's just from fs. So we got a small error here. Okay, so fs dot, we're gonna write a file. Okay, so sorry, so we're gonna make something called users.json here. So we'll be having all our users over here. So we'll be writing a file that is, okay, sorry, so we'll be first of all reading a file to dot slash users dot json, and then you're getting a function having an error, which is error or null sometimes, and then we'll be having a data, which is a buffer. What we're getting, okay, so and what we, it's a void because we're not going to write on anything. So we are going to first of all write file to the same users.json, and here we are going to make some, we're going to make a new variable called json data, which is an object. So we are going to json dot stringify, I mean sorry, parse our data over here. Okay, so let's just use let. Okay, we can actually use const. We're not going to change this anyways. So then we're putting object here. So we'll be putting all the json data. This is again es6, and we'll be adding a new thing. Username is to password. Okay, so yeah, so this is basically shows the username over here. So yeah, so let's check what error did we get. Okay, let's just put buffer slash string, so that, okay, let me just put this any. Okay, now we got that, we got rid of that error. Okay, no overload matches this call one. Okay, so that was basically useless. Okay, so let's think about that later. So if you're gonna get an error, okay, we have not, we're gonna, yes, so if error, where are we? Wait, so we need a callback. Okay, so if error, throw new error, or let's just say next response dot um json error is error, like this, else will say success dot json success. Oh sorry, so yeah, um let's just say code equal to 200. Okay, so this should work. If I'm not wrong, this must work. So let's just curl this. Oh, oh, just say post request online. Okay. Oh yeah, so this can't do it because we're on localhost. So it should work. So never mind. Um. Okay, let's now check about this thing. Okay, yeah, now I got the error. We have to stringify this. I'm sorry. Okay, what's the error now? Okay, let me just dump all of this. Call it an object. We'll call it obj and const obj is an object and it's equal to this. Okay, what's the error? Oh, you know what? Let's never mind. Let's just go back to what was there before. So this is the problem with TypeScript. It's really annoying with the types and stuff. Okay, let it just be like this. Yeah, actually we don't need this. So the something will be like, and here we'll be having the password. So of course you have to hash the password, but I'm not gonna show how to do that in this video. Okay, so yeah, this is not required actually. Not required. Oh, username? Who said it was any? Okay, let me do it the old class method now. I'm not gonna use ES6. This a huge problem now. This is a literal string. This is also a string, and this is an object. Um, I hate ESLint. Let me just. Where do we have TS? No. Okay, never mind. Okay, just ignore those errors. So Oh, sorry. So what we'll be doing is we'll make the new data. So we'll call something like new data is an object. So we'll do this. So now data. Okay, we'll just make complete data is JSON data. JSON data. Oh, okay. With our new data. Yes. Perfect. So we'll just put complete data here and we'll say that this is an object. Mm, okay, so this is where we got the problem. So data is a buffer, right? Okay, let me just put it buffer slash string so that the compiler gets satisfied. Okay, and just I don't care right now. Leave. It's the type problem. I'm not gonna fix this right now because that's gonna take a lot of time. So now everything should work. So we can use something called tRPC, which I talked about before. So yeah, or or for now, let's just leave it and just use normal um fetch requests. So yeah, when we click on okay, so when we get signed in, so we'll be reading data. So basically, fs dot okay, we'll import fs. Yes, I think we have to get an error here. It's the server client problem. If it's not, then that's great. There should be an error. Huh? Oh, okay. 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 Let's see about that. Now here, let's fs.read file. We're gonna read dot slash server slash. Okay, what's in server? Oh, there's nothing in server. Okay, dot slash wait dot slash API slash auth slash users.json, and we're getting a function error and data. I'm gonna return data. Oh, okay, so what's the problem with Okay, that's again types. Never mind. So actually, we shouldn't get any data now because as of now we don't have any data. So let's just put data colon this. So you can see we don't have any data. So now if I make a new use, oh, we have data. Okay, that's okay. Let me just put read file sync and remove all this. Okay, now yes, now we're getting errors. Uh, maybe I should give. Okay, for now, let me just give the entire path so that we don't get any path errors. Okay, yeah, the object stuff. So json dot stringify all of this. Yes, now we shouldn't get. Okay, so you can see we got. Okay, we have to JSON pass this and then stringify it. So if you don't understand by what I'm telling right now, just wait. So I don't care about that types again. You see, we got the data now. So what exactly I'm doing is this thing. Yeah, this thing returns a buffer, and this buffer is now passed as a proper object, and then we're stringifying it. So that's what's happening here. So yeah, of course we can You know what? Let's just remove all this. Just pass this and dot for each. Um, what do I say? User. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna return the user dot password. Let's just check whether it works. Okay, so something is wrong. Let me just go old school for loop. Okay, let's just go back to, yeah. Oh no. Okay, something's wrong. What is wrong? Something's. I don't see something. Anything's wrong. Oh yeah, we got everything right. Okay, so we got the data. So now it's the button part. So on click is equal to a function. So yes. Okay, so now it's time to use hooks. Let's import. So this. Okay, let's just make var email equal to use state. So instead of use state, we'll be putting nothing. Oh, okay. Uh, email and set email. Okay. Password. Set password here on change. Set password. Okay, so we get an event here. E dot target dot um e dot target dot value. Sorry, it's the same thing over here. We'll put set email. Okay, so on click, let's just alert email and password for now. Okay, so now let me so you see we get an error. So let me tell what exactly the error is. So now I'm using something called hooks, and we're also reading files. Oh, this is the problem. We're using hooks and reading files. Okay, so we're gonna get a huge problem here. Yes, we are getting a huge problem here. Oh yeah, we can't do that too. Wait, what if I make this into a function where I import it over here and I return this and use client. Sorry, use server. Okay, this will have errors. Let me make this into a function. Const uh, get users. So let me define this somewhere else. Let me make um on get.tsx and paste this over here. Export default get users. We don't need the underscore. Now we go to, oh yeah, where are we? Yeah, here. So get users and ECMAScript file had an error. Server's action must be async. Okay, so that's, I don't think so. That's a big error. We put an async here and return await. Okay, yeah. Let's just, yeah, okay. Um, Let me read file and await that. Okay, so I hope we don't get any errors. Okay, we don't get any errors, but we're not getting the data. Okay, so what's that? Okay, I have a great idea. Let me just put async here and go to page.tsx and put await here. And if you're gonna complain, okay. Still, we ain't getting the data. Huh. Okay, I'm curious why. Okay, so I'm gonna do something else. Let's just delete this file. We're not gonna do anything. Will finish this getting data part in the next part. So yeah, meanwhile I'll try to fix all these errors. Okay, first of all, Okay, yeah, we can use cons. That's a good idea. Wait, wait a minute. I feel that will make an error. See, I knew it. Never trust the intelligence. It has to be let. Can't you see I'm changing it here? Okay, still we're getting an error. Set password e dot target dot value. Oh, so, okay, so we changed it up. Set password. Okay, set email. Okay, still we're getting val errors. Mm. Or we'll just use ref. Okay, so I'll check what's the error going on here by the next episode of the series. So yeah, meanwhile, tune in. So that was a great experience. So in the next series, I mean, sorry, the next okay, so the next episode I'll be talking about the CSS styling, fixing all the TypeScript errors, and we'll make the application work.